What's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to another video. So today we're talking about adapters, more specifically the EOS R to RF lens adapter that you can get to go with the R6, R5 series in order to use your EF lenses on your R series cameras. Now, of course, the vast majority of people who bought the R6 and R5 and the EOS R before that would have been quite keen to be able to use their old EF lenses. And that means probably like me, most people who purchased one of those cameras would also have purchased the Canon mount adapter EF to EOS R. Well, I say most people would have purchased it, most people would have tried to purchase it, but however, there is a problem. That's right, this seems to be out of stock at pretty much every supplier you might look at. Which is crazy really. You think that Canon probably would have manufactured as many of these as they did of these, but apparently that's not the case. So that got me thinking, what are people supposed to do? So I was having a look at alternatives and I found this, the Viltrox EF to EOS R adapter, which is available ready to buy next day delivery with Amazon Prime. So in today's video, we're going to compare this, the Viltrox adapter, with the official Canon adapter. Is there any difference? Whilst you guys are unable to buy this one, maybe this one will do the job for you. Now, I should say this is not a sponsored video. I bought this with my own cash monies. Well, not cash money, I bought it with my debit card on Amazon, but nonetheless, I paid for it myself. Viltrox have not been in touch. They did not ask me to do this. I'm doing this purely unbiased review comparison between the two. If you guys think this will be useful, do me a favor, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Loads of other videos coming on my channel, which I think you might enjoy. So I'm going to test a few different things with this. We're going to look, of course, at the physical differences between the two. We're going to test the functionality, so it sounds silly, but we're going to check that it works, and we're also going to see if you get like the full functionality within the lens performance. So we're going to test speed of autofocus, and we're going to test things like image stabilization. Now, one of the key differences to look at before we even open the box is that this Viltrox adapter is half the price of the Canon adapter. In fact, it's slightly less than half the price. I think this one right now is listed on Amazon at £119 and it's unavailable and the Viltrox is £49, so less than half the price. So I'm really interested to see how the two of them stack up. I have, by the way, put the links to both of them in the description below. If you want to go look at them yourself on Amazon, you can. Links in the description below so you can go check them out. So look, first things first, let's get this one open because I haven't even opened it yet. So let's have a look at what we've got in the box. So we've got to pull these couple of stickers off, I think. And then that slides off there. And then inside the box, we got some bits. I don't think we're going to need those. And inside, we have the actual adapter. So, get rid of that as well. Put the box and stuff over here. Okay, so let's have a look between the two. So the first thing to note is that they are roughly the same size. The actual mount adapter itself is about the same width, similar weight, it feels like, roughly the same, and actually they look very similar as well. It kind of looks like Viltrox has pretty much designed this to look exactly like the Canon adapter. Apart from there is one key feature difference, and that is that the Viltrox has the tripod mount attached to the bottom. Now, that's actually quite interesting because one observation I have made, of course, is that when you attach your EF lens to the adapter and then to the camera body, they come out really long. And so if you are going to mount them on a tripod, actually to have that adapter a little bit like further along your setup, and by that I mean not on the bottom of the camera anymore, is a little bit further forwards on the bottom of the adapter, that could actually make you a little bit better weighted on a tripod. So that's actually really interesting. It is removable. They actually give you the little Allen key in the box. If you do want to take it off, that just comes off on there. So actually that's quite a cool little addition. Not really something I expected. I don't think it was in the picture on the Amazon link. Maybe it was, I didn't pay enough attention, but that looks cool. Let's just take the caps off this little silica gel thing inside, and inside it basically looks exactly the same. Maybe the interior of the Canon one is slightly more like flayed outwards as it gets to the outer end of the adapter, but otherwise pretty much the same inside. Okay, cool. Right, so I'm not going to do extensive testing of the Canon adapter in this video because I've talked a lot about this already. In my opinion, it performs flawlessly. The autofocus is fine, functionality of the lens is fine, image quality is outstanding. You don't have any issues. You can use your EF lenses with the adapter on your R6, R5, and you get pretty much no problems at all. Really, really good. So you might have to take my word for that. I've made other videos about this if you want to go back and look at that. I'll link one of those right here for you, but not going to do extensive testing of the Canon one in this. Just trust me, this one's good. Let's see if the Viltrox one is as good. So first thing we're going to do is just test the functionality. So let's get it on the front of the R6 and then let's attach a lens. Now for this video I'm going to use my 70-200, mostly because I want to use one of my lenses with IS, image stabilization, so that we can fully test the functionality to check that that works. So let's get this turned on. And good news is, straight off the bat, it seems to be working. The autofocus is working. Yep, we're focusing on stuff. We're focusing on something over here, a bit further away. Yep, autofocus seems good. Let's just check that the image stabilization works as well. Yep, the image does stabilize. I can feel it's kicked in. You kind of feel that like rolling thing in the lens there. That is working too. Yep, I can see that it has. Okay, that's good. So the initial functionality of it seems to work. Everything is operating as it should do. Out at 70mm, in at 200mm. Yep, autofocus seems to be working well. So first marks, tick box for the Viltrox. Oh, that rhymes. Right. Okay, so I think the next thing to do is to take a couple of images. So tell what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to pop outside. It's a lovely bright day. I'm going to pop outside. I'm going to take two photos, one with the Viltrox adapter, one with the Canon adapter. I'm going to put these next to each other so that we can test the image quality. I'm going to take a couple of different ones. I'm going to take my 24-70 out there as well. We'll do one right out wide at 24mm. We'll do one in a little bit closer at 200mm so we can compare the two photos. Right, I will see you guys in just a minute. Okay, just like that, half a second for you guys, about 20 minutes for me. I've been outside and I've taken some photos. Now, I've had a look at them already. Interesting, very interesting. By that I mean, they both look pretty good. So, I'm going to put the two photos, or two of the photos, on the screen right now. So these are the ones right out wide. These were taken at 24mm. I won't label them just yet. I'm going to let you have a look at them yourself, see if you think you can see any difference between the two. And then I'll bring in the labels now so you can see which one was taken with the Viltrox. And I think you will see there seems to be very little difference, if any difference at all. I personally would say I couldn't notice a difference. When I was looking really zoomed in, like pixel peeping, maybe to start with I thought I could, but then actually I've decided it's just my mind playing tricks on me. Personally, I don't believe there is any difference between the two photos, but have a look for yourself. If you feel that there is, then cool, let me know, comment below. But actually, I don't think there's any difference at all. Here's the two photos at 200mm. I won't label them just yet. I'll let you have a look so you can see. But again, probably not really a spoiler. Again, I think they look almost the same, very identical. Here we go. I'll add the two labels to them now so that you can see. So really, really impressed by that. I would suggest that there's no difference in image quality at all with the two adapters. But that said, I probably wasn't really expecting there to be any issue with this. I mean, ultimately, that adapter is just a hole that your lens is on the end of. So it wouldn't really affect image quality provided the performance of the lens is working, which we already established it was. One of the key areas of performance which I think will be quite interesting is autofocus speed. I want to see whether or not the autofocus speed is going to lock on and pick up something as well as it does with the Canon adapter. So for that, I'm going to do a little setup right here on the table. I'm going to focus on the background and then we're going to move the camera in to focus on my good mate Tyson. Let's just find Tyson. He is up here somewhere. Here he is, his little Tyson. We're going to set up a system with him in front. We're going to focus on the background. We're going to pan the camera across and see how quickly it locks on to our good mate Tyson right here. This will be quite an interesting test. Is the autofocus as quick? Does it lock on as quick? Is there any kind of searching, anything like that? It will be good to see. Right, let me set up that one, do this, and then we will talk about the results. Okay, and we're back. We've done that little test. Now, really interesting again. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to share them both on the screen so you can see these before I label the two of them. So as you can see, what I've done is I focused on the background. I then panned to the left to focus onto Tyson to see how quick it would lock onto his face. Should say, just to share the settings, I did this in AI servo mode, so I wanted the continuous focus as I tracked across. Now, I think you probably will agree with me that they're both very, very similar. In fact, I would suggest they're almost identical in terms of performance. I'm looping it so you guys can see through it a couple of times, but here we go. I'm going to add the label now so you can see which one is which. Overall, I've got to say, really, really impressed. And I appreciate this isn't like out shooting a whole game, but I would say that's a pretty fair test. It probably does exactly what you're going to do if you are out shooting a game. You'll be tracking one thing, you'll move to another subject, and you need it to lock on as quick as you can. So I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the Viltrox. Right, we've done a couple of different tests here. We've used two different lenses when we were shooting the photos earlier. Now we're doing a bit of tracking, and it seems to be performing well. And when you guys start to think about the fact that this one is available when the Canon one just does not seem to be, and it's less than half the price. You know what? Arguably, if they were both available right now, maybe even for less than half the price, the Viltrox is perhaps the option people should be looking at anyway. So right, let's get these disconnected from the cameras and let's do a little bit of a round off. One of the other things which I did want to check is not really a performance issue, but it's something which I read about on one of the forums when I was researching this, is that a couple of people suggested that the fitting was a little bit loose when it was on the front of the camera body. So first of all, let's test the Canon. Let's put the Canon adapter onto my R6. I would say that is real tight and solid on there. There is absolutely no wobble at all. It feels like it is a flush fitting all the way around the side. That one I would judge to fit very well. So now let's try the Viltrox adapter. Let's get that one on there exactly the same. Okay, so that's interesting. So I would say that there is near enough zero movement on there. Now, what it doesn't seem to have is the like rubber kind of weather sealing bit that the Canon one does on the edge. I can't see that, and in fact if we just take it off, no, it doesn't look like it has that on the Viltrox adapter, so that is one interesting point to be aware of. But in terms of the fit, it doesn't feel like it moves at all. It feels like it's kind of locked in place, so I'm happy enough with that. People who were saying earlier on the reviews and the forums that I looked at, and it was only very few people, but a couple of people did say it was a loose fit. I would suggest it doesn't seem that it is. Maybe I just got lucky and I've got a tighter fitting model, but the one thing I am aware of is that it does not have the weather sealing ring that the Canon adapter does have. Okay, so look, to round off, I would say in my fairly simple tests, and these are no means scientific tests, but in my fairly simple test, I would say the Viltrox adapter does really, really well. It holds up just with the Canon in terms of image quality, autofocus performance. So if you guys are looking for an adapter, struggling to get hold of one, don't overlook the Viltrox. It is a cheaper option, but could be well worth considering. Now, I should be absolutely transparent and say I don't plan on switching to the Viltrox. I've got the Canon purely because I was lucky. I did manage to get hold of one. I'm using the Canon body. Of course, I've got Canon lenses. So seeing as I've got it, it kind of makes sense to me to put a Canon adapter in between the two. But if I didn't have this and I had done this kind of test, I would be absolutely happy with using the Viltrox one in the meantime. So I would strongly suggest if you guys are out there and you haven't got an adapter and it's stopping you from using your lenses, yeah, get onto it, get hold of the Viltrox, because this will do the job in the meantime. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, do me a favour, hit the like button because it helps my video out loads and loads, and I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Loads of you guys subscribe lately. It's crazy. We're at like 8,500 subscribers. We're rapidly getting towards 10,000. Who knows? Maybe we'll hit it this year. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to see you on the next video.